They are people with a personal passion.
And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great to get these back to their families?
It's not a job.
There's nobody that gets paid.
For some, it's about preserving a legacy of places.
When somebody was standing here when it first opened, they didn't know what a light bulb was.
And of people.
An incredible man who's under-recognized in American history.
For others, it's about creating something new and sharing it.
I'll go to a scene I like and I'll paint it and then I'll leave it and then whoever finds it can have it.
Even if that creation takes decades to finish.
In a way, it scares me. It's such a huge part of my life.
Labors of Love, next on Chronicle. The rolling hills of the Berkshires have long been both a magnet and a haven for creative people. Some, like Norman Rockwell and Edith Wharton, are world famous, but others have been drawn here who are less well known, but no less significant.
Johnson was really an extraordinary American. He's under-recognized in terms of what he did for the country and for the world.
When they bought their Great Barrington getaway home, Jill and Rufus Jones weren't as familiar as they are today about the man who owned it a century ago. The real question is, why aren't more of us more familiar with him? Johnson really is one of those historical figures that people feel like after they know more about him, I should have known more about him, right?
He was a humble man and not a self-promoter. He let his work do the job for him.
And his work was unrelentingly prolific and dizzyingly diverse. Born in 1871, James Weldon Johnson was a celebrated writer and poet, a voice of the famed Harlem Renaissance. He was also a lawyer, and in 1920 became the first leader of the NAACP. He was a diplomat for President Teddy Roosevelt, became the first African-American professor at New York University, and collaborated with his brother in composing music, including his lyrics for Lift Every Voice and Sing, often referred to as the Black National Anthem.
Lift every voice and sing.
What's so fascinating to me about Johnson is all these places in which he appears and in really major roles. Right? He's a leading player, the first to do things in so many areas.
In 1926, on his doctor's advice to relax more, Johnson and his wife, civil rights activist Grace Nell Johnson, spotted a lovely little home in the hills of Great Barrington.
Grace and I studied the possibilities and decided that we could remodel the barn, keeping the interior with the old hand-hewn beams just as it was.
So, Rufus, this is the original interior of the barn.
It is. We tried to keep it as it was in 1926.
But both history and kismet have combined in this story. In 2010, Harvard's Dr. Sandra Catherine Wilson, the executor of the James Weldon Johnson Literary Estate, passed away, bequeathing the literary estate to Jill Jones. A year later, on a snowy winter day, Jill and Rufus found themselves with a realtor looking at Johnson's former home.
There was no furniture, and there were 2 rays of sun coming straight down from tall windows, and I felt embraced. And this was going to be our place.
And so it has been, including Johnson's original writing cabin, which even locals believed had long since been reclaimed by the woods.
Surprise!
Surprise. It exists.
At the cabin, Johnson wrote many of his signature works, including his autobiography in 1934.
So watch your step.
Yeah.
The vision is to restore it to almost exactly how it was when Johnson had it. We want artists to be able to come in and spend the day in the cabin finding their inspiration.
And they are coming in, though not to the cabin yet. In 2016, the Joneses created the nonprofit James Weldon Johnson Foundation. Artist Maclina Gomes received the first artistic fellowship.
They're looking at supporting artists who are going to illuminate his story through visual arts. They're looking at the cabin as a metaphor, but also a physical space where writers, researchers, students can go and learn.
Indeed, John Weinstein, provost of neighboring Bard College at Simon's Rock, sees the simple existence of Johnson's writing cabin here as a gift.
one of the many reasons I love bringing student groups there. We'll go and look in the cabin, and then we'll sit in a circle and read a passage from God's Trombones, written in that cabin.
Do you feel in many ways that you are, as well as residents of Johnson's home, stewards of his legacy too?
It is an incredible responsibility, and yes, we are the stewards of this place.
Meanwhile, Jill and Rufus Jones work away, day jobs, family and all, preserving the legacy of a remarkable man we all should know more of. And thanks to a labor of love in the Berkshires, many more will.
It's a blessing to be here, to have this responsibility.
Jill and Rufus hope James Weldon Johnson's writing cabin will eventually be used as a teaching and learning center where other writers, artists, and researchers can spend time. Part of what makes the cabin so significant is its location. While the Berkshires have been home to many famous artists, there are almost no surviving homes of significant African American artists who lived and created there.